Now it's time for another Board Game Brawl preview with Nick Meanahan, sponsored by BoardGameBliss.com. Hey folks, today we're going to take a look at a game that is currently seeking funding on Kickstarter. That game is called Vikingar, and it's from Jack Brode Games. Now, if you like what you see throughout the rest of this preview video, I'm going to encourage you to go to the official Kickstarter project page. There will be a link up in the top corner of your screen, as well as down in the description section underneath this video. Those links will take you to the page. You can find out more information and hopefully consider backing the project. Now, Vikingar is a competitive game where every player takes control of a clan of Vikings back in the olden days, and you are trying to explore and gain glory for your clan. Now, in gameplay terms, you're actually trying to move up achievement tracks. There's lots of different types of achievements for different types of things. For combat, for exploration, for treasure, for fighting monsters, all these different types of things. And if you can get enough achievements completed and then take your clan to the gates of Valhalla, you will win the game. But of course, it is easier said than done, and there is a very interesting combat mechanic in this game. You don't want to miss it. So let me go ahead and give you a brief look at the game with a prototype version of it. So what you see here may change in the final version. Just keep that in mind. Then we're going to come back, we'll discuss it further. Vikingar is a competitive game for 2 to 4 players. Each player controls a clan of Vikings that is trying to gain glory by completing divine achievements. You'll decide ahead of time how many achievements you play to, usually 3 or 4. When someone has the requisite number, they must explore the world's end and find a gate to Valhalla. Doing so will win them the game. To set up, place the open seaboard in the middle of the table. Randomize all the territory tiles and place them face down around the open seaboard. Every territory is split up into the northern kingdoms, the southern kingdoms, and the world's end. There are 5 types of places you might run into. Fishing villages, which you can loot. Cities, where you can loot or build an outpost. Places of worship, where you can loot or build an outpost as well. Fortresses, where you can loot or you may have to pay a toll of 2 coins to progress further. And mythic quests, where you will slay a legendary creature and hopefully get a cool item. Every player gets a set of clan stuff, including 5 outpost tokens, 5 longship tokens, 8 achievement cubes, and an achievement chart. The cubes will mark the progress of your achievements. To give you just some examples of what achievements are in the game, the Bravery Cup lets you move up every time you lose a longship in combat. The Hero's Cup lets you move up whenever you defeat a mythical monster. The Looter's Cup lets you move up whenever you destroy a place of worship, and the Curse Cup actually goes up if you were the one to accumulate the least achievement points in a round. You can go up on multiple tracks at the same time, but you still need to meet the requisite number of completed achievement tracks to win the game. 2 of your longships get placed on the open seaboard. The 3 decks of cards are shuffled and placed aside for now. There are also gold tokens and fire and blood tokens, which you're going to use to keep track of places that have been looted. There's also a bag of wooden runes, and before we go any further, I need to explain combat because it's very different than other games. You call on the Aces, sort of Viking god things, for help by throwing the runes. More specifically, you take either 5 or 4 runes, depending on whether you're the attacker or defender, respectively, and drop them from about 4 inches above the open seaboard. To count, they must land completely inside the border. Any rune that lands flat and face up gets you 1 destiny point. Face down is always worth 0. A rune that lands on its long side gives you 3 points. If at least 2 runes land on each other and overlap, they are worth double points, if they would be worth any points at all. If at least 1 rune magically lands on its short side, it's an automatic victory for you. Whether it's player versus player or player versus the game, whoever has the most points wins the battle, with ties going to the defender. If it's a map feature or a card that you're fighting, some other player will throw the runes for that defender. Randomly determine who gets the first turn token, and deal out the rest in clockwise order to determine turn order. The game takes place in phases. First is activating the longships. In turn order, you can move your longship from open water into one of the territories and then take an action. But to do this, you must first draw a navigate card. It will usually have a rune combat challenge you'll have to complete, and if successful, you'll complete your move and action as normal. But if you fail, you will take some sort of negative consequence, which may be losing your movement, though you can instead use your action to move out to the open sea. We'll get back to that in a second. If you move to an unexplored area, you'll flip over the tile and move on to the northern area. You can only have one of your longboats in a territory, and if you move into a territory that already has an enemy longship, combat happens immediately. In later turns, you must have an open waterway to move to the southern area. Vortexes, however, can connect two disparate territories and help ease your travels. In fact, open water has a vortex, and if you choose to move through that to go to a different vortex, you won't have to draw a navigate card. If you go to the world's end of one of the territories, you have to draw a world's end card. If it's an abyss card, you must make a rune challenge against 5 runes, or else you'll be destroyed. If you draw a Gate of Valhalla and you have the required achievements, you win the game. There are several different actions you can take, and always be aware that these can net you achievement points. You can move again, which may initiate combat. You can loot places, which gets you gold and may require a rune challenge of escalating intensity depending on the type of place. You can build outposts on worship sites or cities. Or you can complete a mythical quest, which has you drawing a mythical card and fighting a tough rune challenge. If you succeed, you may also get to take them as a special item. But if you fail, you're destroyed and the mythical beast remains for the next challenger. Phase 2 is simply trading, where you collect 1 gold for every outpost that you built. Phase 3 is where you can build longships and buy treasure. You always get 1 more longship for free and build more for 2 coins each, but you can only have 3 or 4 ships total if you got at least 1 or 2 achievements, respectively. And you can only build the 5th if you've defeated the Kraken. For 3 coins, you can buy treasure just to move up the wealth achievement. The last phase is simply maintenance, where everything resets for the next round, and the player who earned the fewest achievement points goes up on his Cursed Cup track. That is Vikingar. Well, of course, right off the bat, there are a couple of very noticeable things of interest, to put it mildly, about Vikingar. First, I mean, it's just a presentation of the game. You see that map. You're so used to just seeing a square or rectangle board that it just has, it might look nice, it just has all the features of it, and that's it. You unfold it, you put it there, it's there. The fact that you have these different territory tiles, sort of like pie wedges along the edges of the main open sea area, it's just a very interesting way to go about having the presentation of the map, a different way to do it. And the fact that it has some gameplay aspects, because it's an unexplored area. So now it's not just like, oh, I draw a card because I went to this place. It's, okay, draw a card for navigation, then I flip over and see if it was even worth my trouble to begin with. So that sense of exploration is really there because of that, and it looks nice. Then you have the whole aspect of combat, which is the other dramatically different thing, which I've seen some physical activity type combat in other games, but not quite like this, because in this game, it's very simple. I mean, it's not like overwhelmingly complex, and it's not something that you're like, oh, we got to do that again. It's very simple. You just grab the runes, whatever runes you have, you might get bonus ones and such, and that you'll have to keep track of, but then when you have them, you just drop them. And you try to keep them in the circle, in the border, and hope that they come up in your favor. But it adds an interesting layer because it is random, but you have a pretty good chance of doing well. And it's not too hard to get your longships back if something happens to them, if they get destroyed. And because you have multiple longships, maybe this one gets gypped out of doing something this turn, but that's okay. You still have an action. Maybe you can use that to move another longship. So that's just an interesting, sort of wrinkle to the game where you have this interesting combat mechanism, and the game doesn't punish you for trying to take advantage of it. And then there's lots of other things. I mean, the achievement system of the game. So this is, getting points, but unlike in a traditional game where it's just like, oh, I went here and I got some points for building crops or whatever the hell it is. But in this case, you have 8 different achievements, and you're unless you're a madman, you're not going to insist that you have all 8 of them completed. But the fact that you have this breadth of options as to which ones you want to focus on, and that you can sort of scattershot and say, like, I was really going for the combat here, or for fighting off the mythical beast, but now that's kind of been closed off to me. But it's a good thing that I've been working on looting. So instead, I've been going up on this path, and you never feel like you have completely lost and run out of options. There's always hope, because you might have other achievements that you can complete instead. And you only, in a normal game, you only need 3 or 4, so the game doesn't overstay its welcome either. And despite what it looks like, and how long the explanation that I had was, It's really not a complicated game, and it's not hard to teach. It's not long to teach, nor is it difficult to understand and get new gamers into. So, if you like Viking themes, if you like Viking themed games with a very interesting element to them, there's a couple of interesting elements that I haven't seen in a lot of other games, you definitely want to check out Vikingar. It's on Kickstarter right now. Don't take my word for it. Go to the Kickstarter page by following the link in the top corner of your screen or down in the description section of the video. Find out more information and hopefully consider backing the project. That is Vikingar from Jack Bro Games. Thank you so much for watching and for supporting our sponsors. Take care.
Thanks for watching. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Patreon. And make sure to check out our sponsor, Board Game Bliss, where you can find an amazing selection of games from around the world. BoardGameBliss.com. Thanks for your support.